Hey guys, Deadpool here. Just wanted to tell you about a little event that's happening on March 23rd. Fun for Funds. It's a Journey into Comics Network event featuring live podcasts from Brews with Dudes, Podcastrophe, Dungeons with Dudes, and Journey into Comics, as well as performances by band number 1, Boner Jovi. Ooh, that sounds fun. Walk Among Us, Yesterday's Chips. Also featuring live stand-up by comedian Patrick Murray. He's so much fun. Presented by Journey into Comics Network and the Doom Room. North End Pub, Lafayette, Indiana. Doors for 3, podcasts at 4, with bands at 7:30. $10. It's 21 and up. Don't try to sneak in, you silly kids.
The following
Journey into Comics.
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 Journey into Comics
Network
Production.
Heyo, hiyo. This is Nick Maxon from Brews with Dudes, and you are about to embark on the Journey into Comics Best of the Week show, featuring highlights from all episodes on the network this week. So go ahead and sit back, crack open a tasty brew, and enjoy.
And here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to Journey into Comics.
I don't know if you've seen this. I don't know if you have Hulu. There's a show on Hulu I watch. I've probably talked about it like maybe 2 or 3 times on here called Pharmacopoeia. And it's with this...
It's in my watch list. I just haven't watched it yet.
Okay, so there's the guy Hamilton, and he's this like nerdy Jewish dude. And he goes to South Africa, and he is literally in this fucking back alley while this dude is making backwater mandrakes, which is this crazy like high quality drug that they peddle in South Africa. And he's like with some like legit black market motherfuckers, just filming, talking about it, learning about the trade, like super interested. Another episode, he's in like there's a place that he takes you to in one of those episodes where it's an island of mushrooms that look like the mushrooms from fucking Mario.
Wow.
Everything looks like the big Mario, like Toad's. Like Toad's head is fucking everywhere. It's crazy. But that show is really another one of those eye-openers. Hamilton was on Rogan as well. That was their whole episode as well, was a conversation about various drugs and the uses and whatnot. I feel like it's interesting to note that in this time where we have an opioid crisis in America, and that's something we can't like ignore or just be like, hey, we're comics, we can't talk about this shit. Like, really, there's an opioid crisis. People are taking prescription painkillers at an alarming rate. People are dying at an alarming rate. I mean, it spiked like from to like 13% like 7 years ago to like 48 or 50% of deaths last year were opioid related. So it's interesting to note that the things that come from the earth, a thing that comes from cow shit, and a plant are like in the heated battle of should they be legal. And I'm like, are they created on this planet? You have your answer. Like, I think the things that are being, and you know this, like the big pharma things, they just need to be caca. Like,
well, I mean, the only issue with that, and you know, I totally agree with everything you're saying. The only issue is, I mean, if you're big pharma and you hear that argument, your response is, well, where does opioids come from? They come from a little gold plant called the poppy.
oh, I know the poppy seed. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. So I mean, if you talk to big pharma, they're going to make the argument, well, you know, we're helping people, you're just trying to burn people out, and we're natural too. We just have a little bit more involvement. And you know, our political climate aside, you know, Alex and I talked about this pretty heavy on our episode. The FDA has approved psilocybin mushroom treatments as trials, like in mass, like not just small segmented things. They're doing it a lot. So that gives me a lot of hope that, you know, in the next couple of years there won't be so much stigma. And as a person that suffers from you know, intermittently anymore, but anxiety and depression, I look forward to the day that I can actively heal myself and not kill myself at the same time.
I absolutely.
You know, in reference to the opioid crisis, for sure.
Yeah, it's I think I want to say Oregon and Washington maybe are the first two states that this year on the ballot is the recreational allowance to do, or not recreational, medicinal, sorry. They're going to try to pass medicinal psilocybin.
Awesome.
Because they've already been doing the studies you're speaking of in mass.
Mm-hmm.
I think have been happening up in that area. So they've got proof in the pudding that it works. That people who were born with depression or people who were born maybe with slight bipolar, not full-blown bipolar, because I think that can maybe go a little bit deeper than just, the psilocybin thing. But they've been treating and helping people out quite a bit, whether it's taking them through microdosing and getting them like to where they just every day are taking a little bit to just change their biochemistry, or doing like some people do and taking the massive peace outside trip. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Go meet Sasquatch.
Excuse me while I go meet the Sasquatch.
Let me get to that sass. I'm gonna make that baby sass.
I promised him I'd bring a 4x4 animal style. I'll be back in a couple hours. It's an In-N-Out reference for our West Coast fans.
People in the middle of the country just went, a 4x what? Did you just say you're gonna bring him some wood?
Are you talking about my double wide?
And I'm just like, animal style, just say Big Mac sauce, dude. Just say Big Mac sauce. Let's keep it real.
But you gotta say animal style, man.
I know. It's a cultural thing. I would love for In-N-Out Burger to be here.
Yeah.
Damn it.
I want In-N-Out. I want Shake Shack. I want Whataburger and Popeyes and Jack in the Box.
I'm gonna pop your bubble just a tiny bit, just a little
Just
bit.
all that good shit.
Not a ton, just a little bit. Shake Shack, I've had it. There's a Shake Shack in Chicago. It's not that good.
It's better than McDonald's.
Okay, god damn it, you got me there. It's way better than the D.
Yeah, it's better than Steak and Shake.
I don't know
I
about
think it
that.
is anyway.
By the way, do you know what the fuck is up with Steak and Shake? Why the fuck is it, if it's after 10 o'clock at night, do you know it takes like 2 hours to get through a Steak and Shake drive-through after 10 o'clock at night?
Oh, well, at like 1:30 in the afternoon, it takes 2 hours to get in and out of the restaurant. So I think it's just all the time anymore.
It's weird. So, like obviously Walk Among Us, we travel around and whatnot. We were doing a show, and one night we tried to go get Steak and Shake after a show. The first place, they're like, I swear to God, this truly happened. We went up to the window, and they said, "Hi, thank you for choosing Steak and Shake. We're going to have to wait 10 minutes before we can take your order. Thank you." And then they just left. They told me.
I would have drove away.
I was like, you know what? I'm going to be patient. I really want this fucking Frisco melt. Like, that's my life, And the girls were like, yeah, let's just be patient. 10 minutes turned into 20. 20 turned into 45 minutes. We hadn't got our order, and I fucking lost it. Yeah. I snapped. So we went to another
one. You played their game, man.
Oh, man, I don't understand it. It's like, how do you not know how to multitask in a business that has a drive-through?
They probably had 2 people working.
Yeah, you're right. It's late. They're not going to be fully staffed like a dinner service, but they need to be. Fucking late night people working and shit, man.
Right.
I lived that thirds life. I know what it's like to be out late and be like, what am I going to eat? McDonald's or fucking White Castle? Great. That's a lovely fucking choice.
Well, and, spontaneity says sometimes you just got to have some Steak and Shake.
Yeah.
I need that Frisco melt with bacon. That's what I need.
Man, when I was younger, a 16-year-old and shit, I would go to Steak and Shake and order that Frisco with 2 extra patties.
Ooh. Just give me all that cholesterol.
32-year-old me just went, my heart, oh, fuck.
My arteries.
Like, no wonder I got a bad ticker. It's all that fucking... I abused my shit when I was a kid because I love food. Like, I'm not going to pretend like it's, like, my favorite thing to do is eat. Like that's not just the munchies. That's just who I am as a person.
Right.
So, like, when I worked at McDonald's when I was 14, and we'll talk about this later when we have another topic, but this is just a brief on this one thing about cholesterol. Every single day I was eating a triple cheeseburger, only cheese, extra cheese from McDonald's on my break. Every fucking day. So hopefully I don't stroke out at like 40. I'm just saying.
I don't think you will. I think you've got enough medicinal herb in your bloodstream to carry you on.
I am weed. That's what it would say if I took a drug.
Shit, man.
I just look down and it's like, you are weed. Oh, fuck.
What?
How do they know? Oh, I'm terrified. Don't break a piece of me off, man. Keep it going. All
Don't
right,
grind
anyways.
me up.
Okay, so back to it. Do you want to talk about some comic bullshit now? Do we want to actually try to get into this fucking podcast?
Yeah, I think the good one to start out with, over the last month and a half, and pretty much every time you and I have had a really in-depth conversation about things that really grind our gears, we've been talking about James Gunn.
Breaks my soul.
And I got the and you and I are 100 for 100 on Disney needs to rehire James Gunn. We need to move forward and just let the guy make the movie that he wants to make, or let his brother do it. Let's meet in the middle ground. Kind of let him be his brother's keeper, and it was a win when they decided to keep his script. So I can't complain about that. But no
one knows how to speak through the Guardians better.
Right. There is enough there are enough people, whether it's actors or directors, saying this is wrong. We're a family and let's make this right. So I think the middle ground would definitely be letting his brother do it. But I'm really happy I was really happy to get the news that James Gunn was going to do Suicide Squad, because I think I'm one of like 8 people that enjoyed that movie.
I enjoyed parts of it. I didn't hate the movie full blown, but it's not my favorite movie.
I think it's comparable with the rest of DC's movies. I mean, let's just be honest.
Well said. Absolutely. Word to your mother, Aquaman.
I mean, it definitely had more comedy than, like Man of Steel or Batman versus Superman, that were both extremely dry, in my opinion.
I'm pretty sure a cardboard box could have more comedy than those two movies, though.
But the reason this is kind of grinding my gears, one of the reasons I liked Suicide Squad so much was Will Smith's Deadshot.
Killed it. Absolutely killed it.
And I got the notification a couple days ago. I've got the article from Variety here that said Will Smith exits Suicide Squad sequel. Even with the studio dating the next installment in the Suicide Squad franchise, Warner Brothers may already be losing one of the film's biggest stars. Not one of, let's just go ahead and say the film's biggest star, because he was the biggest contract on that project, I believe.
He definitely
with
made
Margot,
the movie
with
well.
Margot Robbie at second for sure.
Absolutely.
This says, this is from Variety. Even though his return had not been made official, sources tell Variety that Will Smith, who played Deadshot in the original, is not expected to return for the studio's upcoming sequel. Sources say scheduling was the ultimate factor and that the decision was made on amicable terms between both sides with no hard feelings. Though the studio has never confirmed who would be returning for the Suicide Squad 2, insiders say the studio has always wanted its biggest stars like Smith and Margot Robbie to return while figuring out other casting decisions along the way. The studio and reps for Will Smith could not be reached for comment. So, as aggravating as this is for me, I understand the whole scheduling conflict. That's just a part of the business. You can't make 9 movies at the same time, especially when you're terrible CGI as a giant blue genie for Aladdin.
Sick burn.
Right now, they're talking about Suicide Squad 2 starting filming this fall and being released in 2021. I really want James Gunn to succeed on this project, but I'm almost expecting it to be canceled, just like all the other DC stuff that's been canceled the last 3.5 months.
Flash is on the docket next to get the chop. They're rewriting the whole entire script. It's supposed to come out this year, by the way.
I understand what DC's MO or track record has been with the comics. They go down a path that they're not entirely happy with, so they reboot. They do that over and over again and just keep hitting that reboot button, and they keep suffering, and they keep suffering. And then when it comes time for them to, I don't want to say try and take any of Marvel and Disney's market away from modern cinema, but to kind of share in some of the limelight, they do the same exact thing that they've been doing with the comics, and I don't understand it. They need to improve the writing. They need to get the right people cast for the right roles, which I think, barring a few people, they pretty much have nailed the people that they need for the roles that they have. They've just been too ambitious and too quick to say, well, that was a waste of time. Let's start this over again. So not being a DC fanboy but still wanting them to succeed is very frustrating for me, because they have the talent. They have the ability to do it. They have the capital to do it with Warner Brothers standing behind them. I just don't understand why they won't ride the wave a little bit. Just let it happen.
Well, and I'm going to ask you a question here, because this might change your opinion on the Suicide Squad at least. With Will Smith leaving, there was actually one thing to report. Justin Kroll, who is the Variety writer that broke that story, added on Twitter, one item I forgot to add to the story is sources are saying executives are now deciding whether they will recast the role or replace Deadshot with a different character from the DC to join the team in the sequel.
Certain shows where I really enjoy podcasts that are either interviewing other people or it's a conversation. Like, it's still really weird that, like, I wouldn't necessarily listen to the podcast I do, even though I enjoy what I talk about. But I feel like if someone else was doing the same podcast that I'm doing, even though it's topic-based, I would probably tune in, but I might only tune in for specific topics that I'm interested in, because, like I do on the show, the title is the topic that it's going to be. I don't do a fun title or a random title. The topic is what it is. Like, the Academy Awards was last week. That was the episode. Title was the Academy Awards. That was my topic. That's what I talked about. But I like that. Like, I think the Academy Awards episode got me the most ticks because people wanted to know more about the Academy Awards. They were just looking for any podcast that was talking about it and checking it out. That's how you kind of gain new followers, in my opinion, is because there's something that you're going to talk about that'll grab someone's attention as they're just searching different podcasts out or kind of scrolling through the feed. Like, because, like, I can go on my podcasting app, which I like, CastBox, and I can search for whatever. Like, I'm going to do it as an example. I'll just pull it up right now. Let's see here. You have an option. Like, most podcasts have a search box. Like, on mine, it has the hot podcasts, and the top one is Joe Rogan, obviously, and there's True Crime NPR, Ben Shapiro's Serial, Joe. I think there's the hot searches. Mobituaries? I have no idea what that is. History. Like, everyone has a thing they're looking for. And I can search, let's say, sports. And you can search channels, episodes, and there's hundreds of podcasts. And some are done by, like, looks like morning or afternoon radio shows that just have a podcast counterpart. But everyone, there's an access, there's a way that everyone gets into this. But podcasts haven't really been around that long. Like, they have been around, 15 years now? I actually have a little thing here. This was from International Podcast Day. So actually, podcast wasn't even a word until 2004. It was first mentioned by Ben Hammersley in a 2004 Guardian newspaper article in which he rattled off possible names for the booming new medium. The pod of podcast is borrowed from Apple's iPod, obviously. And then the cast portion is taken from radio's broadcast. As a matter of clarity, just because it's named after Apple's iPod does not necessarily mean that you have to own or use an iPod. Yeah. So, iPod plus broadcast equals podcast. Pretty straightforward. So, this is kind of more from it says, like, a podcast is sort of difficult to explain because there really isn't anything else like it. But rather many things that are kind of like it. So, it's internet radio on demand. So, unlike your regular radio listen on the way to work, if you do listen to that, or if you listen to like Sirius XM radio, which those things aren't, you can't pause it and come back to it. Those things are running. Sure, you probably can listen to a backlogger on weekends. They might play an episode from earlier that week, but like I listen to a morning radio if I'm not listening to a podcast or something on the way to work, I listen to a morning radio show that does music and there's people talking, but if I get out of the car and do something, come back to the car, I don't pick up where I left off like you can with a podcast. A podcast I can start, like, I listen to podcasts at work, I listen to audiobooks or whatever, but if I, I listen to JIC on my way to work, listen to it getting ready for work, in the car, once I got to work until I finished it. And then I moved on to another podcast, and I watched some stuff on YouTube, and like, it's just things you do to fill your time. And I can, like, I have half-finished podcasts on here of ones that I'm like, I was in the process of watching, I did something else, I didn't come back to it, but the joy of podcasts is that you can download it, put it there, and come back to it later. And sometimes you listen to podcasts. Like, that's not something you really do with, like, a radio show. Like, oh, I really need to go back and listen to February 7th morning radio show. I heard it was good content. Like, you can't really go back and do that. But with a podcast, you might be like, oh, I really like that movie review podcast. I should go back and I'm going to go see this movie that they were talking about. I should listen to that podcast again and see if I catch something new about it. So yeah, that's the benefit that podcasts really have, is they're on demand. There's millions of them, literally. There's millions of networks, millions of shows. There's something for everyone. That's pretty much the thing. Like, I know some people are just in it for the true crime. I'm not a huge true crime person, so I don't really get into that. I get enough of that on TV at home, but if you want to watch true crime, there's sure thousands of them. If you want podcasts on like wedding planning, home improvement, hobbies, pet stuff, like, there's really is a podcast for everyone. And it's because of the nature of it, like, it doesn't need to be a super fine-tuned, you don't need an expensive mixing board and microphone and soundproof room. You can literally podcast with your laptop's microphone. Some people even podcast from their cell phone, or they'll do a live stream. You don't need a fancy setup. I mean, it does help it because you can eliminate background noise. You can make things better, but it's not 100% necessary. I mean, there's certain podcasts you can listen to that if they've been going for long enough, you can hear their audio improve as the years have gone on. Like, I didn't start, like, I know the microphone I use now isn't anything special, but it's better than the one I started with. I had a $12 one I got on eBay that made my voice sound a little weird, but now I have a Snowball, which isn't much better, but it gets the job done. It sounds a lot better than my computer mic or anything else I would use, so I keep using it. If this thing becomes more than what it is, I might get a mixing board and an actual mic, like a Shure or something, but in the meantime, if I'm still doing the content I'm getting, and I've heard no complaints, if you still enjoy the content, I'll just keep doing what I'm doing. But yeah, everything's all about money and time. If you put money into it or time into it, you can make things better than they are, but the content's what matters. Like, I mean, I could have the fanciest setup, thousands and thousands of dollars, but if I just fart loudly into the camera into the microphone every 30 seconds, not many people are going to listen to it. I'm sure there's going to be at least like 4 people who'd be like, man, every fart's different. Like, what the hell? Like, I don't know. That's kind of a weird ranty way of doing this. This is going to be kind of more loose episode because I don't really have a structure. It's been one of those, this week got away from me, I thought, podcast, that's the thing to talk about. But here's kind of some more they have. I'm going to kind of try and refocus myself. But what truly makes a podcast unique and what gives a podcast its casting ability is how it is able to immediately deliver itself to multiple podcast distribution points, such as iTunes, Stitcher Radio, Spotify, or podcatcher applications through a podcast of syndication known as RSS, which is Real Simple Syndication. So listeners can easily subscribe to podcasts, most are free, like I said, by clicking on RSS icons or subscription button. The listeners then walk through how to add the podcast syndication feed to a podcasting application of their choosing. So when a podcaster releases a new episode, subscribers are automatically notified without having to constantly check back with the podcast website to see if a new show has been produced. And with the podcatching software, episodes of their favorite podcasts can be automatically downloaded, all without having to lift a finger. So in this way, podcasts are like magazine subscriptions. The different aspect in casting is majored to where podcasts can have a global audience reach, as where traditional radio is a limitation of their broadcasting signal strength. So yeah. And like I said, podcasts can be judged just about anyone wanting to share and communicate with the world. Like, I remember it being really crazy. Like, the guys on Podcastrophe do... Obviously, they have the podcast, but their big thing is the live stream, which they do up through Facebook. And they get listeners, and then they break out the audio, and they put that on the podcast on Thursday. So they live stream Tuesday, put it out on Thursday. And having the live stream aspect gives them the chance to connect more with their audience, because if someone likes their podcast, they can be like, oh, next week I should listen on Tuesday. Maybe throw some questions out there. Maybe they'll respond to it. It makes it feel more personal to yourself, and that's really neat. And they actually got some international audience. So they had a guy in London they were really excited about. They were, I think, was a part of the podcast on, or the live stream on 2 different episodes. So that's really exciting and good for them. And like, it's really surprising considering it's like a 9-hour difference in time. So like, they're recording at like 5 p.m. and it's wee hours of the morning when that guy's listening in. So really kudos to them for reaching that audience. And that's just for some people who are just like, oh, what's this? And then they just catch it. Like, I haven't really done a live stream, but I've been on that live stream once, but I haven't really done a live stream like that. I don't really listen to them, but they're definitely neat and kind of interesting to be a part of. But it's not the joy of podcasts, like, especially when your friends do them. Like, I understand, like, everyone has a podcast, and some of them aren't great, or some are not your cup of tea, but, like, that's the benefit of seeing your other people you work with make content. Because even if you don't like it, you still appreciate what they're doing, and you still wish them the best at what they're doing, because if they are doing something, even if it's not something you particularly enjoy, they have an audience, and they're growing, and they're branching out, and they're doing great things. So yeah, podcasting is great, despite like what the intro kind of made it seem like. And sure, like so to refocus myself, this is something I found kind of interesting. I was just kind of looking at something else here, and here's an article from the New Yorker, which I know is very stuffy and all of that, but there's an article they have from late last year about how podcasts became a seductive and sometimes slippery mode of storytelling. In our frantic age, audio narratives offer a rare opportunity for slow immersion, but this intimacy can become manipulative. Alright, that's kind of an interesting, bold statement. So in 1936, Walter Benjamin, the German philosopher and cultural critic, published an essay titled The Storyteller. The piece, ostensibly about the Russian writer Nikolai Leskov, offered its author an opportunity to analyze the meaning and function of storytelling. Long ago, Benjamin suggested stories offered listeners practical or moral counsel, much as fairy tales now did for children. They transmitted common wisdom framed by the personal experience of the storyteller, which was delivered in such a way that listeners could incorporate it into their lives. This kind of storytelling was falling victim to the forces of modernity. That's a weird word to say. Benjamin argued, soldiers returning from the battlefields of the Great War, for example, were less likely than earlier combatants to speak of what they'd gone through, finding ordinary language incommensurate with the horrors of mechanical warfare. But the principal cause of storytelling's decline was the new form of communication, information or verifiable and topical news. The rise of electronic communication meant that news could instantly be transmitted around the globe. Although Benjamin noted that this mode of communication was not always more accurate than the forms it had overtaken, its authority depends on the appearance, at least, of accuracy. No event any longer comes to us without already being shot through with explanation, Benjamin wrote. By now, almost nothing that happens benefits storytelling. 80-odd years after Benjamin wrote about the decline of storytelling, we're living in a new golden age of it, in the form of the podcast, on-demand audio that a listener can download and play while commuting or exercising or, given the right equipment, showering. A recent study conducted by Edison Research found that nearly a quarter of Americans listen to a podcast at least once a month. Once a month, more like once a week. The most popular shows, such as The Daily, produced by The Times and featuring Michael Barbaro, a former reporter, as a winning, accessible interlocutor of his news-gathering colleagues, Or The Joe Rogan Experience, in which the bluff comedian interviews public figures about things like masculinity and technology, are downloaded tens of millions of times each month. Some of the most acclaimed podcasts, such as Slate's Slow Burn, which is in its second season, plumbed the painful history of President Bill Clinton's impeachment. I actually do have that podcast downloaded. The first one was on Watergate, and the second one's about Clinton. I haven't had a chance to listen to it yet. It's one of those ones that you can't really pick up and go. It's definitely a series that offer a provocative lens not just on the past but also on current events. When the show's host, Leon Nefiak, interviews Juanita Broderick about her claim that in the 1970s she was sexually assaulted by Clinton, it makes for sobering listening in the era of Me Too. Beyond the top of the charts, there are 500,000 other podcasts available, fashioned for every conceivable interest or taste. If a person wants to know more about Walter Benjamin, she can listen to an episode of Thinking Aloud, a BBC Radio 4 show in which Laurie Taylor, a British sociologist, renders Benjamin's work in plain-spoken English, or download the National Gallery of Arts podcast in which the Princeton art historian Hal Foster delivers a Mellon lecture about him. Or find the Clock Tower podcast dedicated to preserving archival audio, which offers recordings of several radio scripts for children that Benjamin wrote in the 1930s. Or search on an episode of Giving the Mic to the Wrong Person, a left-leaning podcast hosted by Jeremy Selman that features an off-the-cuff roundtable about Benjamin. He's one of the Frankfurt School guys from what I understand in the context of contemporary politics and culture. In the first years of podcasts a decade or so ago, technological limitations militated against their widespread adoption. They had to be laboriously transferred from a computer to an MP3 player or an iPod. Podcasts were made by geeks for geeks. That changed in 2014 when Apple added a podcast app to the iPhone, making subscribing almost effortless. Even better, it was usually free.
Red meat, we crave sustenance.
Guys, we are not invading my aunt.
So I put a documentary on after I watched Three Identical Strangers because it was like you may also like this. And I was like, okay, sure. So, Sarah, I think you went and played piano. You were like, I'm not having any part of this one. But
probably.
It was called Tickled. And it was about...
ew, yeah.
Hold on. Don't get ew and let me set it all up before you start swaying the listener. So, Tickled...
Be swayed, listener.
...is about... Well, okay, let me tell you that it's way deeper than what even this basic plot summary says.
What's it called? Tickled?
Tickled. And it's about competitive tickling.
Oh my God.
Allegedly.
What? That's it. What's that?
Okay, hold on.
Tell.
So... in like the 2012-ish times or something, I'm pretty bad at the exact time frame. There was like a thing that went out that said if you're a specific body type, a specific age, if you meet these certain requirements, you could get a $1,500 paid trip, or like all expenses paid trip plus $1,500 spending cash once you're there to be a part of this competitive tickling competition. So a bunch of dudes all get in on it.
Sounds like a human trafficking.
Hold on,
scheme.
Hold on, because it's a but wait, there's more story.
Ooh, I like those.
So I want to watch it. So I'm not gonna give away too much, but essentially this guy from New Zealand wants to just like learn about this league. So he inquires, and they like had sniffed him out.
There's a league of ticklers.
Hold on, allegedly. Thank you. So.
Ooh, spooky.
This New Zealander reaches out to them, and they like respond to him with really anti-homosexual insults, like of the hardest severity. Like they just like trash him because he's a gay man, and he's like, "Whoa, this just makes me want to figure out what the fuck is going on even more. Like, let's go." And he goes down this path, and there's this allegedly this like Jane Foster, that's not the name, but that's the one that comes to mind, group that's like putting on this alleged tickling competition. He interviews people who are part of it. He interviews people who do this as a fetish. And then like the mystery deepens, and there's like this like one dude who, I'm not going to tell you the full details, but there's one specific
tickling,
but there's one specific individual who's at the heart of it, and his real end game is because it's a non-sexual turn-on thing he's been making like ass tons of money out of. It's it is We definitely need to watch it. It's crazy. Like
Weird.
conspiracy, what the fuck, tickling, really? Like that's
Yeah.
exactly what you're gonna say. Like what?
The word is uncomfortable.
Did you say
Ew.
tickling? Like one more time for the people in the back, tickling?
Yeah,
What?
would you want to be in a like if you were a professional athlete and you were taking this like competitive tickling thing super seriously? Would you want to be in a competition with someone who's only doing it for like a sexual fetish purpose, knowing that that's what they're getting out of it?
Well, here's the thing:
I
I
don't know.
wouldn't
It's-
want to. I'd
it's
be like,
weird,
ugh.
man.
the people who
That's
were
weird, man.
the people who were involved in the league had no idea what the purpose was for, and then the people who were involved in the league. That
Oh no,
tried
here
to-
I'm just here to tickle people.
You're not even ready for this. The people who were involved in the league that
I'm
spoke
professional,
out.
professional.
The people in the league who spoke out were exploited, and those videos were put up and like used as like a slander campaign against these individuals who are up and coming actors or up and coming MMA fighters or things
For
of this
tickling?
nature. Yeah,
Allegedly.
exactly.
Okay,
It's-
I need to know what the hell you're talking about. I'm gonna need to watch this documentary, and I'll report back to you.
Okay, good.
Let's
That'll
move on.
be. We'll get into that.
I watched enough to know that I didn't want to watch the rest.
You left at the least best time though, because like 5 minutes later, the real shoe dropped, and I was like, "Oh shit, this is."
But wait, there's
it's
more.
tickling. What? It's fucking tickling, and it's also very uncomfortable in a lot of different moments because
I don't
they
want to watch
show-
grown people tickle.
They do show
Yeah,
people
they, like,
get
hold
tickled.
people down.
Like they're tied down.
They
Oh
tied
my
him
and it's
down.
all dudes, and they
Like,
thought that there would be
tie and
dudes
quarter
and
'em,
ladies.
basically.
It's all men.
Yeah.
100% men.
Oh my god!
And there will be, like, 3
I
to
can't
4 to-
wait to watch this documentary.
3 to 5
And, like,
men on top of another man.
I'll report back.
But it's not gay.
I'll report back.
I
Don't worry.
mean, I want it to be, but they said it's not. So
Well,
I'll
that's
report
why
back.
you left way too early. Is all I'm saying.
But
'Cause
wait,
there's more. There was so much more. Like
Great, I can't wait.
well, I had a date. I needed.
that was
to
the
do
tip of the
things.
feather, as it were. See what I'm saying? Tip of the feather tickle. The feather.
But
Okay,
killing
anyways.
it, killing it, Nate.
Let's get out of some movies for a minute. Let's get into a little bit of food talk here for just a brief second, you guys. I've tried cooking a new cuisine. Well, so why don't you guys grab me some sort of a beverage out of the fridge, something cold?
Sure.
I forgot to do that before the show, and I'm just realizing I'm parched. But anyways, I decided, our favorite Thai restaurant closed down, and I was really quite disturbed and a little bit heartbroken that the Exotic Thai in Highland closed down forever.
We've
so
talked about this a lot on this show.
we have talked about it a lot and
Yeah.
grieved, but you know what? Grieving turned into, it was like a fucking superhero origin story as I'm a dude. Okay, anyways. Bruce with dudes. But to me, I was like, fuck it. Like, I'm going to try to cook this red curry that I used to get at Exotic Thai. I'm going to take the palette that I know, what I tasted. I'm going to take a couple of recipes that I see and think of the things that I would do to make that palette and then go from there. It fucking worked.
When Nate was telling me this story the other day about how he made red curry, he's like, I'm about to change your life. Like, you're about to be so excited by this news. And he told me about he made Thai food. And I was like, this in no way affects me at all. I fucking hate curry.
But
Yeah,
then
what are you doing?
But I told her to continue on before you dogpile and
just being
chastise
mean.
me, Sarah. Jesus.
I was just being mean, but I thought it was funny.
The reason I said it would change your life is because I've jumped into the realm of not being afraid to try new cuisine, which means I will attempt to cook pad Thai, pad CU,
He did say that was next.
anything.
I want
don't
the pad
give a
bun
fuck.
sen. I want the
Done.
pad seiyu.
Done.
I want some motherfucking crab rangoon, even though that's not technically Thai.
I'm not cooking that.
I want it.
I mean, I guess I could cook it, but I don't know if I'd cook it.
I think
can
you
make
should,
it.
I think you should be in charge of the crab rangoon.
I can make it really, really good.
Yeah.
We just bought that cream cheese. We can get
We
some
did.
like crab meat.
It's whipped.
So let me break down this
Yeah.
what I did with the Thai food real quick because I do know exactly how I made this. There's not like a
Go for it.
random mysteries thing. So obviously you got to get the red curry paste. I used 3 tablespoons of red curry paste, 1 can of coconut milk, like the Thai Essentials coconut milk. I just did like a dab of olive oil that just keeps it from sticking to the bottom and keeps it moving in the cooking process when you're simmering. Once those things were added, I added some garlic, actual pressed garlic, sea salt, pepper, garlic salt, things of that nature, a little bit of nutmeg, and then I added onion, green pepper to the actual boil, so they cooked in with it, and then I sautéed chicken strips, cut them up, threw them in there, and let it saute into that, and then put that over rice. Boom.
You did it.
Fucking home run. It was so good. Oh, and lime. I forgot that I also did a big-ass whole lime spritzed all the way into the thing. Like, fully juiced that lime into the thing.
Yeah, it was good.
You did it.
And I didn't get sick the next morning, so I felt pretty all right. Like, I didn't die.
Great, you did it.
So.
I want homemade Thai food anytime.
Okay.
That sounds great.
Well, let's get into it. I'm all about that life.
Yeah.
Pad Thai.
I want that Thai life.
You made delicious food this day.
What did I make today?
Steak tacos, girl.
Oh, yeah. We did have those little street tacos today. Sarah and I were at the store the other day and found these amazing little tiny taco shells, like flour tortillas, street taco style flour tortillas, and they were really good.
They're like the size of the palm of my hand.
They're perfect.
Yeah.
I had 2 of them, and that was like perfectly enough food.
So while you were rocking making that steak and getting all that stuff prepared and the shells and everything, I went into make guacamole mode. And then I was like, you know what? We have this food podcast, and people sometimes need visual representation when they're hearing something. I mean, I'm like that. I'd rather see it than hear it, or whatever. So I took photographs of the rundown of how to make the guacamole. We're gonna put that in the description or something. We'll find a way to utilize all that information. But pretty easy. Avocados, cut them, get them peeled from their thing, throw them in a bowl. Fucking mash them, cut your tomato, throw that in there, rustic, keep them chunky. Take your onion, slice them shits up little, throw them in. Don't use the whole thing. Only use like a third of it. You don't need too much onion. That's too much. Then you want a whole entire lime. Again, lime that shit all in there, zesty. Whoop. And then what you want to do is salt. A fuck ton of salt. Don't be afraid to use the salt. Whip it around with your spoon, and then you have amazing guacamole. Goes with chips, goes with your tacos. Home run.
It would have gone really good on some toast as well.
It would, yeah. But Nate doesn't like that.
No, we've discovered that Nate does not like avocado toast, and that is kind of my fault because I burnt it. I fucked it up.
I'm not a fucking hipster is what it actually is. Let's be real.
Well, I made it before, and Sarah can attest to it because she ate it, that it was fucking perfect, delicious, and beautiful. And it was just like eggs in basket toast with avocado and some cheese and salt and pepper on top. Beautiful thing. Unfortunately, I did not have the right pan to cook it in when I made it for you, and the steam didn't cook the egg because the lid it was a big fucking disaster. So it burnt. And it sucked, and you didn't like it. And I ruined avocado toast for Nate.
You didn't ruin it for me. I just am not going to ever be a fan of avocado toast, first of all.
Except
I'm
you
just going to
did.
say the same thing.
First of all, I don't really like eggs like that at all.
They weren't supposed to be like that at all. The steam was supposed to cook them to a beautiful, hard, like over medium style.
They were pretty over medium for me.
No, they were sunny side up.
Yeah.
Oh, but then that's what happened. They were sunny side up because the lid was letting steam out because it wasn't even a fucking lid. I had to use a sheet pan because I didn't have a big enough lid for this pan that I used because I'm dumb and didn't use the right pan. So it's all my fault. But anyway, so I flipped the egg and then it like turned it into that diner style egg, and it was not what we wanted at all.
This was just
my
the
bad.
This was just the avocado toast situation. It happens.
Yeah, it happens. My bad. Well, on to better things. What else did we eat that was delicious?
You guys had that cheese tray.
Cheese.
Ooh.
More cheese.
Sometimes you just got to spend a fuck ton of money on cheese.
Are y'all telepathic, by the way? Did you telepathically predict that she would want that cheese? Did that really happen? Is that a story we can talk about?
I don't know. I only told you that because,
It's just crazy to me that shit happens. It's weird. It really is.
Kismet.
Yes.
Well, what
All
happened
those
was we were
things.
picking out cheeses, and
Yeah.
I've been feeling like super. I had made those steak tacos. I was cooking in the kitchen, and I just felt like I wanted to watch Golden Girls or Jeopardy, like have an old grandma's house day. You know what I'm saying? So we're at the grocery store looking at cheeses, and it's like, God damn, I really want that port wine cheese. And I told Sarah, I was like, do you like port wine cheese? I totally want it with Ritz crackers. And she like looked at me and got all pale, and she's like, I was literally just thinking that I want that so bad, but you probably wouldn't like it.
Yeah, usually when I like things, she thinks it's yucky.
But no, I was
not
like,
usually, but you know, like
yeah. I just wanted to have port wine cheese today, and I did, and it was magnificent.
Yeah,
Really, it was good.
It was
such
good.
a
Did you
weird
like it?
cheese.
Yeah, it tastes. You know what it tastes like to me? It just tastes like easy cheese that's spreadable.
Kinda.
It's like fancy easy cheese.
It's fancy easy
Yeah.
cheese, yeah. I like
Yeah.
it when it's like in a cheese ball.
Mm-hmm,
I don't know, it just seems a little bit more creamier than, like, this kind seemed just a little bit more harder and artificial than,
yeah,
like,
I'm used
if it
to
was
that
like a
stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I loved it. I
Yeah.
liked it. That's what I wanted. That's why I bought it.
Yeah, it's the best one.
We never
of those
buy it,
cheese
though, because it's
spreads.
like, you know, $5 for, like, a small tub of it. A small
It's
little
like
jar.
what you get when you do the fucking fundraiser for kids' schools when they're selling the cheese and the
I
sausages.
love that stuff.
That just reminded me. Last fall, the neighbor kids were doing their fundraiser, and I bought like $20 worth of cookie
And
dough,
you
and they
never
never
got
gave it to me.
Those motherfuckers.
And I paid them in cash. Those little shitheads. I'm going to tell their mom.
You should do it, totally.
Coming for you, little shitheads.
But you'll do it in a clever way where you'll be like, excuse me, Miss Patty Wackle. I don't know why that's her name.
Well, I've never met
That
this
was
neighbor,
awkward.
so I'm going to be like, you know those kids that you were taking around the neighborhood to, you know, sell cookie dough? They never gave me my fucking cookie dough.
Right.
Oh, I
That's what
thought
I'm
you were
gonna
going to be
ask.
like, I was just curious when that cookie dough was supposed to come in. I've just been waiting, and I feel like it's been forever.
Yeah. But I don't know them, so I'm going to be like, where's my fucking cookie dough?
Fair point.
I gave you my money. I had to work 2 hours to earn that money.
Right.
For
Give 'em
your
the
cookie
shake
dough.
Give 'em the
That's 2
shakedown.
hours of my time I will never get back for my fucking cookie dough. Where is it?
You got the buckets. We never got the buckets.
Yeah, I ordered the good stuff, man, with the M&Ms and everything.
Oh,
Bitches.
man.
Coming for you, neighbor.
I was looking forward to eating that.
I know. I
Like,
was super stoked about it.
Straight out of the bucket, too.
Whatever.
Man,
Whatever.
speaking
I'm
about
serious.
cookies, we need to talk
Hold
about
on, we're not there
cookies,
yet
right?
because the cheese tray, you guys forgot. Like, you didn't just
Oh.
get the port wine cheese. What the fuck? You also got that garlic
Oh,
shit.
yeah.
What did we do with that garlic shit?
The garlic stuff was spreadable brie with herbs.
Oh my, I didn't know.
Yeah.
Really? That's what that was?
Yeah.
It was so good.
We're gonna fuck the sodomites in the...
A lot of the reason I'm not ranting is because I'm tired. Nate's in the comments like, get into it, come on, man. I'm like, nah, I'm good. So basically the way we did it, it was gonna be such a huge line, and Miranda and I know just usually by the time that we get through the line and we actually go inside 450 North's pub, it's just packed. It's just absolutely packed. So Mr. Nick Maxon of Brews with Dudes and Dungeons with Dudes and Doom Room and Weed Bee and all that fun stuff, him and Brett Maxwell ventured down as well, and they were already there, and so we made a deal with them. We're like, hey, so Brett wasn't purchasing anything. They were just splitting, so they were just in line together, but they were just splitting. So I was like, here, Brett, here's my card. Here's the beers I want. We will get a table and order whatever you want. I will order you whatever you want. You just get my beer and we'll have the shit ready for you. So Miranda and I, we went inside and we sat down for about 2 hours because that line went slow. People were cutting. I guess I'm going to get into it a little bit. So it was inside the banquet hall, and there's not enough room for like a legitimate line. Like it just wraps around, and people got there late and ended up cutting. Maybe they didn't even know they were cutting, but they just did. So people that got there late some people ended up getting their beer first that they definitely shouldn't have. They were just not in line. The lines merged and unmerged, and people cut, and it was just a giant mess. So they ended up cutting allotments at some point. I don't know, but Yeah, so it ended up taking a lot longer, and it was just a mess, completely disorganized. Luckily, I think they said that that's the last time they do the banquet hall, or at least for this season. But yeah, so we had some pizza, drank some beer, chatted a little bit with Mr. Maxon and Maxwell, and then we headed home. The nice, almost 2-hour drive home. Picked the kids up from school. Came home. I can't remember what else I did that night. Yeah, I legitimately can't remember what else I did that night. Wow, what did I do that night? That's crazy. I know Miranda had to work in the morning, so she went to bed early. And I'm still pouring this beer, just trying to get as much into this glass as I can so I can actually start drinking it. But it's just crazy carbonated or fermented or something. I don't know what's going on, but fuck it, I'm just gonna start drinking it. Like, it still tastes really good. It still tastes excellent. Anyway, so I watched the kids the next day until she got off work. I think she got off work at like noon or something like that. She had to be there at 4. Yeah. And then that night, we went and saw How to Train Your Dragon: The Hidden World, or How to Train Your Dragon 3, however you want to put it. Excellent movie. I'm not going to go into like a full review or full spoiler review. I'd like to actually sit and talk with somebody about that that's seen it. Maybe Tyler or Matt's seen it. I don't know. Or maybe I can have Miranda on sometime and she can talk to me about it. I know she's watching. Yeah, How to Train Your Dragon 3. Excellent movie. I love those movies. I love the How to Train Your Dragon movies. This is the first time I've seen these movies with people. I typically watch these movies alone. Maybe. I think I went and saw the second one with somebody. I can't remember who, but excuse me. But the first one I watched by myself, and I've watched the second one by myself several times. I just love those movies. They're good movies. They have great casts with great voice acting. The animation's great. Toothless is hilarious. I wish I could own. I wish I had a dragon like Toothless. Toothless is fucking hilarious. And he's a badass. Toothless is a badass dragon. And so yeah, that's great. Great movie. I can't recommend How to Train Your Dragon enough. Apparently it's leading the box office 2 weekends in a row. That's awesome. Good. Kudos to DreamWorks. And kudos to How to Train Your Dragon. I love those movies. Sunday, we chilled out. I went and worked out a little bit, which I don't really get to work out very much anymore. I need to utilize my home gym more, but there's a lot of stuff I can't do here that I can do at my gym, such as cables and really heavy stuff. Not bragging or nothing. But, yeah, I worked out a little bit, and then we went and hung out at Miranda's family. We hung out with her mom and dad and our brother and visited for a while, and that was just a good time. We had a really good time. Moving forward. So Monday, I come and face the music and go back to work. Still really short-handed. But I ended up having to be online for a little bit and till I think second half of the day when we had some second shifters come in. But Monday night, Miranda and I, after work, ventured down to Indianapolis, and we got to check out a show. The show was for a band called Rivers of Nile. I've heard of them. I've listened to them a little bit. They're doing a full set of their brand new album. I can't remember what it's called at the moment. But yeah, it's so. A little while ago, Mr. Maxon informed me that his band Weedbee would be opening up for Rivers of Nile. Originally, the show was supposed to be at the Emerson, and then it got moved to the other property that the Emerson is moving to, called the Citadel. And then, for whatever reason, they moved. I think it was because the place wasn't ready yet, and it was too cold in the venue, so they moved it back. They moved it back to the Emerson, which really bummed me out because I hate the Emerson. It's such a trashy fucking place. The acoustics inside are just complete garbage. The outside, it's in a really shady part of town, and there's just no parking anywhere. So I hate going to the Emerson. Yet they get really awesome bands. Like this Friday, they have All That Remains playing there, and I really wish I could go. One, I'm not making another. That'd be my third trip to Indy in a week. I'm not doing that again. I work Saturday morning, so yeah, not doing that. And yeah. So We'd Be played second after a band that I don't know what the deal was. I can't remember what they were called. I don't know what they were called. They never said their name. I thought they sounded all right, but I couldn't tell if it was the acoustics of the venue. I couldn't tell if maybe they just weren't that great. I liked what I heard. There's something there, but I couldn't tell if they were just maybe because the acoustics were so bad that they couldn't hear each other, and that's why some things sounded off. Maybe the Emerson's sound guy really sucked and wasn't giving them the sound that they needed. I don't know what was going on, but in my head I played a game of would Nick Maxon book this band, and I'm split. It's split decision. Maybe he would, maybe he wouldn't. I don't know. I am curious to hear what they would sound like in like a normal venue that had like good acoustics and a decent sound guy. But I digress. So We'd Be played, and let me tell you, they put on such a great show, and there's no describing what they are right now. Like they're proggy, they're death metal-y, they're black and metal, they're all over the place, but despite being all over the place, they are completely in sync with each other. They are a very incredibly tight band, and it just blows my mind to see how far they've come. And I've been there since the beginning. I've been there since the beginning of the band when it was the only member I know now and that was there was Nick. Had a different drummer, had different guitarist and no bassist. Two different guitarists and no bass. Now they have, and it's the band's gone through so many different iterations, and this one's definitely, I think, got the most talent. No offense to the previous members, but this there's just no denying it. I mean, Tony Davis on bass is just out of this world. Kyle Pettigo, Tex, as we call him, he is this out of this world guitar player. I don't get it. And of course, Corey, awesome guitar player. He's always been a fantastic guitar player. He can shred like no other. He knows theory like crazy, and he's just awesome. And you got Dana on the drums, and he's such a badass drummer. Like he plays it, like and you watch him. He's fun to watch because he gets into it, and he plays the dynamics of the songs so well. Like he plays to the dynamics of the songs, and he plays like it's just it all meshes together so well. And then of course you got Nick, he's come a long way as a vocalist. I think him and I've always kind of looked. I used to look at him as like a vocal rival because him and I were both pretty beginnery. We were very green when We'd Be started. Like I had just lost my band and I just started getting good in my band, and then we called it quits, and then We'd Be came out. So I followed him, and I was always like kind of seeing what he was doing and seeing what I could do better, or if I could help him out, if he could help me out. It was a cool rivalry. I don't know if Nick ever knew that or not, but that's how I saw it. It's not like that anymore, but Nick has come a huge leaps and bounds from where he was, and kudos to him because he really put on a hell of a show last night. Like I made a Facebook post earlier, and I think out of all the bands there last night, even like the touring bands, even Rivers and Nile, which I liked, I'll get to them in a second, but I think out of every band there, Weed Bee killed it the most. They fucking kicked the most ass. And as I said in my post earlier, they were fucking rock stars up there. Like, there's no denying it. If they go somewhere, they are going to go somewhere. They're rock stars. Like that. They got it. They got what it takes, I think. So here's to Weed Bee and making it big, because I can't wait for this new album to drop. I can't wait to jam it relentlessly, as I have the last full-length album, which is vastly different musically than this one. It's going to be great. It's going to be a good time. So Rivers and Nile went on like around 10 o'clock, maybe a little after 10 o'clock. It was late, and I was ready to get the fuck out of there. Miranda was too. She'd been up since 2 in the morning. I'd been up since 4. And it was just, we were both done. So we stuck around. We stuck around for, I think, 2 or 3 songs of Rivers and Nile. I dug what I heard. I really want to try them out more. I want to listen to a little more, but I was ready to go. So on my way out, I said goodbye to Brett and Chris Kerrigan. I didn't really say goodbye to Nick because he'd had a few drinks, and you know, I'm a person that some people I just like to give the good old Irish goodbye and not say goodbye. I think the Irish goodbye is really underutilized, and it's some people prefer that. Some people prefer the Irish goodbye, which is you just, if you're at a party, you just leave the party. You don't say goodbye to anybody. You just leave. That way, you're not leaving on bad terms with anybody. You're not wondering. You're not sitting there like, I need to leave, but this is going on. Like, I need to leave, but I'm still stuck in this conversation, or I want to keep this conversation going, but I need to leave, or you're about to leave, and then something else happens, and it keeps you there for a while. Like, you just leave, and yeah. So I just left. I guess Miranda tried to get Nick's attention and say goodbye, and I was already turned around and leaving. So now I feel like an asshole, but it is what it is. Sorry, Nick. Yeah. So headed home. That was a rough drive home too, because I was desperately fighting to stay awake. And then today, oh man, 5:15 came way too fast. And I should have woke up earlier than 5:15, because then I rushed to get to work. Shut up, Miranda. No, I don't. Not always. I like to do Irish goodbyes. She's saying I say goodbye to I go around and I say goodbye to everybody. I do sometimes.
Could just be you farting. This music's not some stock ass like dick rock from the internet. It actually is very lame.
We found a royalty free metal album on Spotify. We just took a track, and it's free to use, free to play. So it's like, okay, we'll just use this. It was lame.
Yeah, I love it.
I do love it too. But
What's up?
What's up? So today we're talking to our bassist, Jack.
Hey, Jack. What up?
He's here to join us in talking about... we decided for the theme of this segment is going to be like guilty pleasures, like stuff that we know is really bad or embarrassing, but we still love it and listen to it a ton anyway.
Oh, yeah.
Because I don't know about you guys, but personally speaking, I have a ton of that. But,
me too.
Well... It's a guilty pleasure in the sense that, like, I shouldn't be listening to it. But most of the stuff I'm not all that embarrassed about. Like just to kick off the list, Seven Dust is one of my ultimates. So many people hate Seven Dust, but I've seen Seven Dust live 3 times now, and they're amazing every time. And I've loved them since day one.
I don't think I've even heard of them.
Never heard of Seven Dust?
Yeah. I'm sure
you're making it sound like it's weird. Like, you've never heard of Seven Dust? Like, I bet you 95% of the Earth has not heard of Seven Dust.
Were they not as big as I always thought they were?
No, you were just really into new metal, but Seven Dust was never like a big band.
I just saw it.
They were
always
a big
seemed
new metal
like,
band, but
I guess when the world was into new metal, in the late '90s, early 2000s.
Sure.
I thought Seven Dust was kind of a household name, but I guess
when
not,
the world was into new metal, it was like Korn, Limp Bizkit. That's it.
Yeah.
But like Godsmack,
I'm also very uneducated on music.
I feel like they're on the same tier as Godsmack though, and everybody knows Godsmack. Right?
Everyone knows Godsmack because of like Army Reserve commercials.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. I'm not the one who's so far.
I love that song.
But yeah, so that's my very first and probably biggest guilty pleasure is I love Seven Dust.
My biggest one.
I'm not trying to blow my load early and give you the big one, but that's the first one that pops to mind when I
won't
think of
start with
guilty
the big
pleasures.
one, but I'll start with one that I do like a lot, but I'm very guilty about it. I just have to pick which one because I have so fucking many.
Jack, what do you listen to that you're either embarrassed to listen to or you don't tell people that you listen to it? I mean, you're telling people right now, but
yeah, I am. Probably all those Boyce Avenue covers. I get into those.
Fucking hate
the what?
The Boyce Avenue covers.
It's like this guy.
They do acoustic songs and basically their own rendition of pop songs, all sorts of different
Big
songs.
YouTube thing.
Oh, it's a YouTube thing? Okay.
Yeah. They're huge fuck on YouTube.
Is it anything like, what's it, Postmodern Jukebox?
I don't know what that is.
Either.
Postmodern Jukebox is this band that, it's a YouTube band. They take songs, pop songs,
okay.
Top 40 kind of stuff, and they rewrite it in, this old, 30s jazz kind of...
Oh, you know what? I've heard of them. Yeah.
That's really cool, though.
It's cool.
This guy just takes pop songs and makes them into a different kind of pop song.
Okay.
Yeah, just slows them down
and it's called what?
Them up a little bit. Well, they're actually a band. Boyce Avenue is a band. I'm not into that.
What's what word are you saying? Voice?
Boyce.
Boyce?
Boyce. BLYCE, I think.
Oh, okay. So it's not like a word. It's
probably like a street somewhere or some stupid shit.
The dog's tail is hitting the table.
Oh, but it hit it went. It was like this.
Yeah,
nice.
She hit the metal rails on the table are hollow, so when she hit it, it's kind of rails. Yeah, Boyce, I'm gonna have to look into it. I've never even heard of that before.
Probably my biggest
I think
one.
you're either gonna eat it the fuck up and love it, or you're gonna hate it.
Yeah.
Or some combination
hate
of.
it. No, I don't think there's a middle ground. 'Cause I can't fucking stand it, man.
Somebody tried to sell me on well, I guess it's not even along that same avenue, but somebody tried to sell me on this Puddles Pity Party. Have you heard of this?
That clown?
Yeah, it's like America's Got Talent kind of thing, and it's all he does is he dresses up like a clown and he sings these mopey, sad versions of pop songs.
He did a My Chem song, and it's kind of tight, actually.
I think he was on that Jukebox channel too.
Oh yeah,
I think he did a song with them.
I could see that happening.
Yeah,
I could easily see that happening.
Yeah, I'm not.
But somebody, this guy at work was trying to get me to listen to it. I was like, dude, I don't get the point of that. That doesn't do it for me. But is that anything like this Boyce Avenue? No. Okay.
It's
so I'm completely getting the wrong interpretation of this Boyce Avenue. I'll have to check it out after we're done recording, or maybe I'll see if I can look it up right now.
Cool.
But I don't know if I don't know if it's copyrighted, so I don't know.
It's a cover.
That's true, but they might have their cover.
They probably do.
They
got tons of money.
They're pretty big on YouTube, for sure.
Is it only YouTube, or do they have an album out or anything?
Well, the actual band, I think, a long time ago did.
Okay.
I don't know if they're still write music or not.
I mean, they're really great musicians, for sure. They're all really talented. I don't like what they fucking do at all.
Boyce Avenue. Oh, they have 11 million subscribers.
Right, that's a fucking lot.
Yeah, they're doing okay.
They're doing all right.
Let's see what's a good one. What's a good one to listen to?
I like the what's her name, Bay Miller. Any of the ones that she's in, because basically he grabs a young artist, or sometimes a popular artist, but usually a young and up and coming artist, and they do a duet 99% of the time.
Okay, that's kind of cool.
So yeah, any of them with Bay Miller, she's got some pipes.
I don't even know who that is. Should I know who that is?
No.
Okay. Boyce Avenue, Bay. How do she spell her name?
EAE.
Oh, I see her.
Bae, like what?
Like Bae.
A young kid calls their
Right.
girlfriend?
Pretty much.
I'm gonna try to keep this down and like out of the recording so we don't get busted for this. I don't think anybody's gonna
I don't
care,
think
though.
we will. But like that harmony shit they do is tight, but
Yeah, I'm a sucker for vocal harmonies.
Yeah,
and
well,
that
that's
was
what
sick.
gets me. You know what I mean? They do tons of harmonies and shit.
I don't know who this girl is, but I like her voice.
Mm-hmm.
What is she from? Is she just a solo artist
Yeah.
or something?
I think she's like, I want to say she's either over the pond or up in Canada, I think. Guilty.
Yeah, this isn't bad. It's not quite my thing, but I don't hate it for sure.
I fucking hate it.
Yeah, Larry's sitting there bored,
No,
just like
no,
playing
there's
with
been times like we'd be at Jack's house and he'd just keep him going and going and going. I'm like, I'm gonna fucking leave.
Yeah, I'd never heard of that
I didn't
before.
have you tied down to the chair or nothing.
No, yep, that's the whole thing.
You got one?
I have so many.
Well, get it rolling.
In Sync.
In Sync?
Oh yeah.
Is that a guilty pleasure though? Because that's like they're one of the biggest recording artists of all time, probably.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So
they're for kids and.
Oh, okay. That's fair. Okay. I guess if you had said Justin Timberlake, I wouldn't be shocked or surprised or anything.
No, I'm talking In Sync. I think
In Sync.
I like In Sync more than I like any solo Justin Timberlake stuff.
Damn.
I don't know. Justin
Dude,
Timberlake
NSYNC
is the
was
shit.
fucking fire. Their Christmas album, the acapella version of Oh Holy Night. Have you ever heard that?
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Their whole Christmas album's really good.
Everything they did was incredible. I saw them live one time when I was 10,
Yeah, I
11.
saw him when I was pretty young.
It was
too.
fucking insane.
I never
It was
saw him.
so
My
incredible.
sister got birthday tickets or something like that, and
Like
I got to go along.
Like the most crazy, intense dancing while singing this impeccable 5-part harmony at the same time.
Do you think they were really singing it?
Fuck
at the
yeah,
same
because
time as
sometimes they
were
would go
dancing?
off occasionally. Like that shit was real.
They can stage that stuff too. You know, it's not.
Yeah,
that
not
hard.
in like the 90s. They can do that shit now. They
Yeah,
could have
they
did that
absolutely
dance
could.
there.
They
But, like,
absolutely could have.
Dude, no, they did it.
Okay, I'm not gonna say it's impossible that they did it, but I'm just saying it's.
But they had so many incredible songs on every album.
I get that. I get that. I'm not mad at that answer.
I don't
That's a
know
good
if
one.
it is as much anymore, but when I was younger, like high school and shit, my guilty pleasure then was I could rock out to some Nickelback.
That's the kind of guilty pleasure
yeah.
that, like, when you're on a podcast talking about your guilty pleasures, you keep it in.
You know what though? No,
It's the whole fucking
Nickelback's
point of this podcast.
Yeah,
You're
you're
absolutely
right.
right, but,
You're
like,
right.
that's a bad
Nickelback.
one.
No, but Nickelback's first album when you were in high school, Nickelback's first album. If there was going to be any good Nickelback, that was it.
I'm the weirdo who doesn't like any Nickelback.
That
I'm not
first,
saying it's.
Listen to that
yeah.
first album again,
No.
for real.
And me and Andrew always.
It's not
we would
fantastic,
always-
but it's not bad.
Yeah, me and Andrew would always. We were like, dude, if these guys screamed, then they'd be fucking huge
Exactly,
right now.
and that's what I always thought. And they
So
got
we'd
signed
just scream
to
over it.
their first album. Their first album was on Roadrunner. So when they came out, I was expecting them to like get heavier and heavier. But I think they just saw the opportunity of, hey,
Right.
people are liking this.
Right.
Let's keep doing this instead.
For me, that's when it got
They
worse
were
and
like-
worse. But
They get shit on constantly.
Yeah.
Yet they were one of the biggest bands in the
like,
world.
by everybody. But they're still huge.
so huge,
Yeah.
And, like, who's into
It's
them?
such a 50-50 split. I think,
Everybody
with
that drinks Monster Energy drinks and drives a big truck. No offense, Jack.
a big truck, but that's about it.
Oh, you don't do Monster? I could see you being an energy drink guy, not in a douchey way. You seem like you like.
They're not douchey way?
I don't even like. I'm not a big soda guy, to be honest. So
Okay.
I'll slam a Red Bull when I'm fucking tired, but that's about it.
I like
It's
the
not
only
like a daily
All
thing
the
for
drinks
me.
we ordered last night had Red Bull in them pretty much.
Because I was absolutely dead last night.
It was fun, though.
I went from tired to drunk, and that was
Well,
about
yeah,
it.
Nickelback, I think, gets shit on way more than they deserve to be. They're not a good band. I don't think they are. But you can't deny that they can write like radio hits.
Sure.
It's
For sure.
happened a dozen times already,
Yeah.
and there's some of the biggest radio hits that have come out in the last 15 years.
Right.
Okay.
but I don't enjoy it. It's like it's the same people that listen to like Five Finger Death Punch and stuff that's Nickelback's crowd. That's
the military.
Yeah. A lot of military. a lot of people that like wear military stuff even though they were never in the military. A lot of those
guys who wear like the tight black T-shirt with the cursive that says like "I love my wife" with like the affliction print. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
that's the worst.
Ed Hardy.
It's like, okay, yeah, I love that you love your wife. You gonna put it on a T-shirt? Like, that's weird.
Airbrush T-shirts.
I think I got a photo of Sammy bought me one of those shirts. It's not the script like that, but
that's tight though.
Or it's I think it's like "I heart my awesome wife" or some shit.
I'm gonna get an "I love my wife" T-shirt.
I feel like every wife wants to get their husband that shirt.
Right.
It's just depending on whether or not the husband wears it.
Right. And this is...
And they're like, if you don't wear it, you don't fucking love me.
Yeah.
Like, God, Christ.
This is also after she got me a "Cool Story, Babe, Now Make Me a Sandwich" T-shirt.
It's like that degrading ass.
She bought it.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, as long as she bought it.
I didn't wear it.
My next guilty pleasure, this is one that's not going to surprise Larry at all. Coal Chamber.
Any of your guilty pleasures not shitty new metal?
Yes. Okay. Actually, those are my only two new metal that I got on my list right now.
Okay, Coal Chamber.
Their first two albums only. Anything after that, I really lost touch with them. But I still will rock out to. They have this song called I think it's called "I," and it was on their first album. I think self-titled album. Am I getting any of this right? I might not have any of these facts right.
Oh, there really is a T-shirt with the "I love my awesome wife" on it, and you are wearing it in the picture.
Oh, and recently too, because you got the beard.
Well, yeah, but he didn't got no hair in that.
That's true.
Jack has very long hair.
That's not of all these cheesy like wife T-shirts.
Terrible.
That's not a bad one, and it's like a bright blue too, so it's not like a douchey color like trying to look cool. It's ironic on purpose.
It's more of a gag than anything. Yeah.
It's ironic.
Those guys who get them to like make it look like an Armani Exchange shirt.
Yeah. That's too much.
And that's fucking asinine.
But yeah, Coal Chamber, their first two albums, I still love. Like when we go on road trips, me and Ashley that's like something I'll throw on is just a Coal Chamber album, and I'll be banging on the steering wheel the whole way. It's great. I love it.
Yeah, one of my more recent ones is "Sleeping with Sirens."
I can fucking relate to that.
I don't
know
if I know any.
Long hair Mexican guys in it. Pierce the Veil. That's a big guilty pleasure of mine for sure.
So when it's like screamo.
It's like the scenester music for the high school kids, but like the scenester music for the high school kids today.
No. Yeah.
Okay.
Like it's targeted for scenester high school kids, and being a 31-year-old grown ass man,
right?
Being into Pierce the Veil, something I don't say a lot.
Well, here's the forum for it.
I like Pierce the Veil quite a bit, actually. Me and Andrew were talking about that at Burger King the other day. We were in the parking lot, and he goes, "Here, I'm going to put this on. Tell me if you like it." Because he seemed kind of like, "Oh, I don't want anyone to know."
Kind of his guilty pleasure,
and
too,
he put it on, and I'm like, "Dude, this is Pierce the Veil." He goes, "Oh, you like Pierce the Veil?" I'm like, yeah. He goes, "Okay, cool."
Like,
and we sat in the parking lot with Pierce the Veil for like 15 minutes.
That's funny.
It's time for Brews with Dudes. Juicy.
Great. We just got down on some tacos.
Absolutely.
Give ourselves a little filling.
Before the extra fillings.
Yes, we're definitely going to be filling ourselves up with some very tasty brews today. We've got the majority of the beers are from Texas.
Oh yeah.
Where Chris just visited. And then we've also got a Firestone Walker that snuck in here, so we're probably going to enjoy him too. Chris, you wanna grab the first beer for us?
Absolutely.
What do we got there?
It is a St. Arnold as the brewery. Pleasantly tart raspberry.
AF.
Raspberry as fuck is what we're assuming.
Yes, that's what I think it means. Raspberry AF. That still sounds funny, but this one's relatively light.
All fruit.
Oh yeah. The lovely sound of a good pour. Thank you, friend. This is red. It's got a nice color. from all angles. All right.
Absolutely.
Cheers. Let's see what we got here. Ooh. 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 Ooh.
It is pleasantly tart.
That is tart AF. Ooh, that touched every part of my mouth. Ooh-wee. It's very good, though.
It doesn't leave a horrible taste in your mouth, really.
No, not at all. It doesn't leave a bad taste at all. Ooh, my goodness. Very, very tart. Texas's oldest craft brewery, apparently. Berliner Weiss with raspberries.
It's definitely an interesting one. And low percentage too. What, 3 point something?
Yeah, when we put it in the old Untapped, it didn't come up very high. So we'll just kind of plow our way through this, I'm sure. Kind of hard to just take big old swigs though with all that. Okay, never mind, Chris. Just went ahead and finished it.
Man, it's like the
ooh,
when you're a kid and you take a bite of a lemon.
Mm-hmm.
That's what that was right there.
Yep. Oh my goodness, still incredibly tart even after the fourth or fifth drink.
Yeah, definitely held it all the way through. So,
ooh, bravo.
Yeah, as fuck.
Good job to y'all. All right, probably need to give these a rinse after that.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Thank you for listening. This is not exactly sure which episode this is. It's somewhere in the 70s. We're working our way to the big 100. We got some fun things planned for that. We got a lot of fun things planned in general. We're very busy folks. We got let's see, this weekend's gonna be kind of quiet, which will be nice for once. We got several shows coming up in March, though. We're also going to start working on some new tap takeovers. That's going to be exciting. We got a St. Patty's party. That's going to be a big fun time. That show's going to have bands, burlesque, and comedy. It's going to be wild.
What?
Deborah Norfleet, welcome. Welcome to the fracas. Chris, welcome back. So, let's not waste no more time. Jumping right into the next one here.
Alright.
We'd like to do the honors. Make sure you cock it back first.
I'll even crack it open with it.
And then shoot it when you're done.
Oh, shit.
Goodness.
Got excited. Why you don't hand me guns?
Sorry.
Do it after you pull it? Or?
Nope, pull it all. Let me get you set up.
You can get that set up.
Now pop it. Then shoot it. Alright. You're fine. I'm just trying to shoot the camera. Ooh, nice shot. Nice shot.
Military taught me something.
All right, why don't you give this guy a pour and tell us what we're getting into.
All right, it's another one from St. Arnold. It is Santo. It's a handcrafted beer. It's only 4.9%.
Ooh, another easy boy.
My opinion, it tastes like a regular beer.
Like a regular beer. Nothing too wild. Not like a liquefied warhead like that last one. Got a dark brown color. Yummy, yummy.
And it's been crammed.
Oh, the cup has been crammed full of Santo?
Yep.
Is that what it goes by?
Santo.
However you want to pronounce it,
I guess.
Just an ale?
Just a good old ale.
Alright, well, without further ado.
Cheers.
Yummy.
It's not terrible.
It's caramely. Yummy.
This is a swigging beer.
It is. You can take a big old bite of that.
Nice and smooth.
Very smooth, not heavy.
Mm-mm.
Got that caramel taste. Trying to figure out the smell. Can't quite figure it out. It is tasty though. I'm enjoying it.
Right.
And which brewery is this from? Is this also from St. Arnold?
Yeah, it's also from St. Arnold. And the next two are the different guys.
So tell us a little bit about. Did you visit any of the places, or did you just pick them up at liquor stores?
I just picked up the St. Arnold's and the Kerbosh at the liquor store, but the Veer, I believe is how you say it, from Klaus. I actually went to that brewery. Real nice place, real laid back. Got a nice. They let a guy with a taco truck park out front, sell tacos out the patio,
Nice.
and they have their beer there. It's all like German brew. But I tried a couple while I was down there, and I mean they're pretty good. I did not have a chance to try this, so this will be a first timer.
It's a big boy too.
Yeah,
it is a big boy. We might not fill our cups with it.
Maybe not,
because we got another big old boy right after that in the Firestone Walker 22-year anniversary ale.
Yes.
Is that what it is?
Yes,
Super
the
fancy.
22 Firestone Anniversary Ale. Yeah, came across it and had to happen.
They take themselves very seriously. Firestone Walker just started distributing in Indiana about a year ago. Within the year, I believe. They're from California, I think. Might be wrong. I think that's it, though. Yeah.
I can get that vibe.
Yeah. It's they're classic. They make really, really good stuff.
Oh man, I had a smiley face.
Oh.
Oh, there he is.
Mine has a little.
Smile away.
I got a little weird face too.
Hmm.
I don't know if I've ever taken the time to notice designs in my beer film.
I don't know. I
Simple
don't think I
things
ever
like that.
have either. I just kind of looked down. I was like, well, son of a bitch, look at that.
Just
The
smile.
beer is happy to have us drink it.
Just smiling right back at you.
Like,
That's
you,
so
you
nice,
enjoy
beer.
me too.
Thank you, beer.
I'm glad you enjoy going down my throat.
Hello, Joey. Welcome. Thank you guys for joining us on Facebook Live. We appreciate you.
Oh, yeah.
We're contemplating going on a beer adventure this weekend.
Yes.
Not terribly sure where to. There's so many different options. I've been wanting to get to Pax Verum on Indy's north side.
I
There's a
think I've
place
heard
in
of that.
southern Indiana called Maiden's Brewery, and it looks very Iron Maiden themed.
That could be
So,
interesting.
kind of want to go there too.
You said that one was in southern Indiana?
I believe so. I'm not terribly sure. I bet I could look it up. Since we're sitting here with technology right at our fingertips.
Dun, dun, dun.
Let's see, shall we? Where is Maiden's Brewery? Evansville. That's a drive, I think.
Evansville. Oh, man. You know what that would go perfectly with, though?
What?
A March 11th trip.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
That is exactly on the way.
You're
Yes.
damn right.
Oh, man.
On Monday, March 11th, when we travel southward to see Between the Buried and Me.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, brother. What do we have here?
The show to not miss.
I am very excited for it.
Absolutely. It's been a couple years since I've gone and seen them, so I'm excited to go.
It has been a minute since I've seen them. It was last year, but I'm not terribly sure when.
Well, mine was 2 or 3 years ago. Last show we were all at the Egyptian Room down there. I brought Chris with me.
Yeah.
Chris Scott.
Yep, I believe that was the one where there's just two bands.
Atlas Moth.
Atlas Moth, and we
Was
missed
opening.
Atlas Moth. Well,
They weren't bad. They weren't bad. They were pretty good.
Yeah, they played. I saw them in Chicago sometime last year, and they were very, very awesome. So glad I caught them. I think we're ready for the next one.
All right.
What do we got? Chocolate stout.
Yes, it is Kirbosh Brewing Company's chocolate stout, and what was it? 5.5%. So not too bad.
Yummy.
Gotta love that sound.
That's a good sound. Chocolate stout is nasty. Oh no.
Oh.
Do you mean this one in particular or just in general, Joey? Explain yourself, Joseph. We're going to find out for ourselves if this one is or not. I'm going in with optimism. It's got that Willy Wonka design on the front. I just don't like it. So you have had this specific one. From Karbach. We will see if we agree with Mr. Joey Hickman after this sip.
Oh yeah.
Do. That is interesting.
Yeah. It's
it tastes like a malt shake.
Yeah. Definitely more on the heavy. I don't know. We're not even quite heavy though.
It's definitely dark.
Yeah.
It's got
it
a
is
dark chocolate taste. Interesting.
Kind of makes me want a bowl of ice cream.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, it's a dinner drink. I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I agree with you too, Chris. It would also go good with some ice cream.
Right.
That wouldn't be too bad.
Chocolate stout floats.
We could do it.
That could be interesting.
They do it up at what's it called? The Pint over right by campus.
I think I've gone to the Pint.
It's expensive.
Is it?
But it's got a lot of good beer, and they do milkshakes.
Oh.
They do beer milkshakes.
It's expensive. That's probably why I haven't gone.
Oh, and the shakes are stupid expensive.
Oh, I bet.
It's way, way too much. But, it's neither here nor there.
Right. But it sounds like it must be worth the visit.
Oh, yeah. We should definitely go sometime. They do lots of takeovers.
Yeah.
Where they just have a bunch of, I think we went to one for Three Floyds. We just had a bunch of good Three Floyds stuff.
Oh, hell yeah.
And cool glasses. Like, if you ordered a certain drink, you got the glass and got to take it home with you. They had a really cool zombie desk glass.
Oh, hell yeah. That's what's up.
It's pretty neat. Pretty alright. I am enjoying this, I think. I think after a couple sips, I think I do like it. I don't know if I could drink a whole lot of it.
Yeah.
I could probably drink a whole can to myself, but
you know what?
I don't know if I'd be slinging these back.
Thinking about it now with how Joey said it's a dinner drink. Oh yeah, nice big fat juicy burger.
Oh yeah.
This? Absolutely. Perfect.
Join us in a new podcasting adventure where we will journey far and wide to worlds, planets, territories, dungeons. I'm Nick. I'm Dave. And this is Dungeons with Dudes. Previously on Dungeons and Dudes. Dungeons with dudes?
With dudes.
With. Sorry, it's one of those things my children like. Dungeons with Dudes. Death House.
Perfect.
So basically, this small adventuring group containing Varanus, Corin, Garta, Ag, and Twice Orphaned.
Uthal, Twice Orphaned.
Uthal, Twice
Thulagia.
Orphaned, Thulagia. Were arrived at this little tavern called the Crooked Crow. some things led to another. We may or may not have been accused of getting obscenely drunk, fighting a bunch of patrons, and completely destroying the bar. But we set off to make it right with the bartender by going to a place called the Galloping Horse in Daggerford, looking for...
Forgot. That's a terrible name. It was great.
Looking for a man to be able to get reasonable accommodation to fix the bar. Partly on our way, as we camped out for the night, we were attacked by the Bandit King, who showed to be absolutely no trouble whatsoever as we...
And not a king.
And definitely not a king.
No,
he had jack shit on him.
He was a king in his own mind.
Twice Orphan beat him with his own minion's head.
Literally his head.
It was the arrow from the halfling that killed him.
Let's also point out
But
that
you just combobulated him with the skull.
Our dwarf monk ran through another human being.
Ran through another human being. It was a very obscene,
Mortal
mutilating
Kombat style.
Mortal Kombat style fight.
It was a massacre. You could say it.
Pretty well, yes.
And after the massacre, the party was enveloped in this mysterious fog, and when it dissipated, we wound up on this road, a gravel road leading into the small town. And as we got in there, we were talking to a couple of children who say that there's a monster in their house that was hiding in the basement, and their brother Walter is still in there. And this is where we come back in.
The kids were kept in the attic to keep.
Yeah,
keep
the
away
kids
from
were kept in
monster
the
basement,
attic.
because family values are a good thing in this town.
CBS is now coming. They're like halfway here.
And with
CBS is coming for a show that will be on CBS.
And now we return.
Thank you. All right, so you guys are in this town that you do not know the name of yet, and you are talking to these two children. There's one little boy. He's still got his teddy bear, and he's kind of like calming down, but he's still upset.
What's your name? Can you tell me your name?
Are you talking to the little boy?
Yes,
or-
little one. Tell us
Both
your
of
name.
them. Most of the girls, since she's been doing the talking.
The girls. Well, I'm Rose. This is my brother Thorn.
Your names are Rose and Thorn.
Well, my
I'm
name
sorry.
is-
Please repeat.
Every rose has its thorn.
Hold on.
Well, his name is actually Thornbolt, but we call him Thorn.
Okay, that's a little more reasonable.
So
All right,
Rose and
so
Thornbolt.
Telling a kid how reasonable it
is there anybody
Have your
else?
parents ever loved you?
Is there anybody else in this town? Is there anybody else you can go to for help? Some relatives, family, friends?
Some safe place you guys can hide out for a little while?
No.
Well, shit.
So you were just hoping for some strangers to walk by and take care of you?
I don't think they really...
Oh, it's 5 o'clock. Better go cry in the street.
Awful.
So,
You've done
all
good
right,
so
okay.
far on your own. Keep it up.
They are also twice orphaned.
So, all right.
Twice orphaned.
There's nobody else in this town. There's a monster in your basement, and you live in the attic. Am I missing anything yet?
Are there any other monsters you may know of?
What?
I'm going to ask her, are there any other monsters that you know of? And then while I'm doing that, I want to like
There's a
kind
lot
of
of
look
monsters.
around down the streets and see if there's
Monsters
anything
are
lurking
everywhere.
around.
Monsters are everywhere.
What do the monsters look like? Do you know?
I don't know. I just hear them.
You just hear them. Do you know what they sound like?
Terrifying.
Terrifying? It's probably reasonable.
Okay, all right. So there's
Terrible howls.
howls.
All right.
All right. So there's other buildings and shit, right?
Yeah.
Are they all boarded up?
This house isn't boarded up, but it's a little rough for wear. But the other ones that are on the side of it is they're all boarded up.
They're
All right.
definitely boarded up. Can I like perception check down the street and see if there's any like other houses or anything down the road that we might be able to shelter them in?
Go ahead and make perception.
All right, sweet. Well, it's a 3, so probably nothing. I think it's
As you're looking
6
around,
altogether.
you kind of look down the other street as you're kind of looking to see if there's any of the houses or whatnot. That same fog starts to like envelop and roll, and so you can't quite see. It's not as
Right.
thick as what it was.
But it's
Prepare
still like you
yourselves.
can't see any- no
We're
shadows.
moving again.
Does the fog seem like it's moving of its own accord?
Make a perception.
I can do that.
I don't like this standing
Not
around.
very perceptive. Now, that is a 9 perception.
Out of 10.
18.
18 plus whatever your.
I got an 18 up for perception.
What's your?
It's just he doesn't have any
I
wisdom.
don't.
I was 18. So you guys are not quite sure. You're looking. This fog doesn't seem natural. Like it seems like some sort of, like either like magical fog or something is controlling it. But it is the way it rolls into houses and like obscures. And you kind of notice if you're trying to look somewhere else, it kind of like obscures that vision that you.
This fog is not natural.
All right, guys, I got an idea.
Mm-hmm.
I want to punch the fog.
I would hold off on that.
All right. I'm gonna leave it to you, but
These
just
kids
saying,
are
I want to
staring
make
at
it.
you.
I want to make it known. I want to punch the fog.
I have no problem with you punching the fog. I want to go check out the house, like this dilapidated house, where just kind of get a better look at like. If there's a window, is there a window? We said the windows are boarded up, right?
Not in this one, but it's all dark. You can't see inside.
Okay.
And
There's
there's a gate that's open, and then there's like a portico, like a porch in there. And it's one of those it's like a row house, so it's not very long, but it's tall.
Mm-hmm.
What's the gate look like? Is it like an iron fence, or is it like
it's kind of rusty?
Okay.
Oh, it's a rusty aluminum fence.
Yeah, that's exactly what
Can
it
I
is.
put my Wait, that
the monster is
that is physically and chemically impossible.
All right, children. Here's what's going. You're going to stay out here, and just stay away from the monster.
We'll take care of the monster.
Hey, children, I thought you were talking to us.
That too. We're gonna go in and we're gonna take care of the monster. Okay?
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Save Walter.
We'll look for Walter.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, they talked about Walter before.
We're looking for Walter, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
No. We're looking for.
Brother.
No, Walter was the name of the. Wasn't Walter the name of the guy? Wasn't it?
No,
it was
Walter's the brother.
Edward.
Yeah, out of character. That guy's Edward.
Okay, never mind.
Make sure you write that down.
I'm writing it down right now. Yeah. But all right. I say we go into the house and investigate this whole monster. Come on, gang. Let's split up. Let's not actually split up, but
let's
funny for the joke.
Me and Corn will go this way for a corn snack.
For what? Corn snack.
For a corn snack.
You stay away from me.
Stay away from
me. It's like a Scooby snack. We're gonna get all fucked up and have a good time.
Oh.
Might I point out, this is the guy who ate a tooth earlier. So
that's why I'm a little scared when he's referring to a snack as a corn snack.
When I go into the kitchen,
I want to take point into the door. Since I'm the most heavily armored, I want to take the point.
What are you wearing?
I'm wearing the same armor as you, so I got a higher.
Are you going?
Oh, okay. Yours
Yeah.
is
So
what,
how are we
19?
approaching this house?
all right.
Are you going to the
Going
gate
in
first?
balls deep.
The gate it's unlocked.
I don't know.
So
It's
walking,
kinda-
leaning
it's
back.
hanging open.
A little
so-
bit, yeah, but it creaks. It's not been oiled for probably a long.
Could you
long
do it
time.
any more
At least
louder?
6 or 7 days.
Is it Tim Allen?
God damn
Who
it!
is that?
The guy from Tool Time or Home Improvement? Whatever.
Tool
So-
Time with
It's
Tim
like
Allen?
Santa Claus has a really bad coke addiction. You're fine.
It's fine. Nose beers. So let's keep going. So Varanus is leading the way. Garda will be right behind Varanus.
Not the.
I'll be trailing behind Gerda.
All right.
I'll be
I'll
taking
take
up
up
the
rear
rear.
flank.
Yeah.
Twice orphan to take up the rear.
As always.
All right, as you
Corin,
guys walk
keep that
up,
bow ready.
You guys head up
See,
to
I'm kind of
the.
like blocking the door as I come in.
You guys head up to the portico.
Okay.
It is. There's oil lamps that are hanging from chains, and there's a set of oaken doors that open to a grand foyer. As you walk.
I'm gonna.
And who's the last person?
I'm in first. He's last.
Make me a perception. As you guys walk into this house, you're kind of looking back at the children.
5 on the
5.
dice.
5. I don't see shit.
You see a whole lot of nothing.
Can I use?
I wish I used my last perception roll on that.
Can I use word of radiance to light those oil lanterns?
Sure. They are now lit.
It's on fire as well.
No.
Everything,
wonderful.
yeah, the entire house is on fire.
What's
A
the
giant
fire
white
attack?
beam shot down from the sky.
We got the monster.
And a fog rolls in and covers the lamps.
The child screams.
It's fine.
Where's my brother? He's
Out
like,
of character, I bet Walter is the beast.
There's a very good chance of that.
All right, as you guys walk in, there is a main hall.
Yeah, I'm kind of like blocking with the shield as I walk in.
Pop-Tarts. What flavor?
Blueberry.
Snack time.
I like blueberry.
I'm eating.
Cherry is my favorite.
I'm eating at the table with a very loud foil thing.
I can hear it in the headphones well.
I'm sorry.
Now I want
Your
cereal.
chewing is very soft, though. I can't hear the chewing. Oh, I can hear that crunching.
As you guys,
Are you sure? Thank you.
as you guys walk in,
Everyone's enjoying their Pop-Tarts as
they walk into the death house.
Guys, Mom brought Pop-Tarts.
there's a wide
Thanks,
hall.
Mom.
There's a wide hall that runs the width of the house with a black marble fireplace at one end and a sweeping red marble staircase at the other. Mounted on the wall above the fireplace is a longsword with a windmill cameo worked into the hilt.
I'm going to go and try to grab it off the wall.
What?
Up.
One moment here. So, how far away is this sword? It's towards the end of the hall. So okay,
And that's above the fireplace?
I would like to inspect
but-
the sword.
And as you guys get in there, you notice that it's there's a lot of cobwebs in this house. It looks like someone hasn't lived in this house
Like, in a while?
a really long time.
Guys, I'm not getting a good feeling about this one. These kids said that they're hid in the attic, but this place looks decimated.
Am I
In
close?
the basement was the monster.
Am I close enough to the door to turn around and yell at the children "Hey, why does it look like no one lives here?" So the door is not quite. You didn't quite close the door. So you can make me a perception as
See
you.
if they're still there.
What is that? 6? That'd be a 10. That's not too bad. So as you look in there, as you look out, the door starts to close, and you see the children disappear.
Oh, that's fun.
Can I make a strength roll to hold the door open? The door is already closed. You see it like that, and you see the children disappear.
Wow.
We're
Can't
having
open
a
the door
very
again?
long day, guys.
I would like to inspect the sword.
I said, everyone. The children just disappeared, and the door is closed. And I'm assuming, is it locked? Yeah, it does not open. It does not open.
So it doesn't open. Got duped. I'm not happy. I'm not a happy person right
Got
now.
outwitted by some kids.
Oh God! And I get down into the fetal position, and I just start going, "Oh God! Oh God! We're trapped here. We're gonna die."
Find God and let's get the fuck out of here.
And I look, and I'm looking at you just disgusted.
Yeah, just so disgraced, pitiful little creature.
I'm ready to leave the group now because I'm so disgusted with your cowardly actions.
I collect myself. I get back up. And I'm
All
like,
right.
I'm just gonna punch stuff.
I want to inspect the
I'm gonna punch that fog so hard in the face. It's gonna have an
Mr. Dave.
All right. So as you